Peace family. I have this weird little rising on my head, which is very annoying. I don't know if it is like a bug bite or something, but I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to go out. It's almost 5 p.m. But I've been just exhausted, so tired all day, and I figured may as well get on live and talk to you all a little bit. So I actually am very interested in getting the energy of today, because the energy lately has been really fucked, if I'm being very honest. In the past week, okay, so the 21st, 22nd, 21st, but let's say, okay, the sun entered Cancer, sun conjunct Jupiter, moon in Cancer, and Mercury entering Leo. And for the most part, I am using this deep hydration facial toner, Rose by Fresh. This has actually been working wonders in clearing up my dark spots, and I 100% would recommend. Definitely worth it. I put some tea tree oil on this to dry it out because I don't know, it's definitely not just like a regular pimple, like something's actually going on there. But nothing else is going to be happening in the cosmos for until we get to July 4th, and then we have some pretty big things going on. And I'm not going to say nothing else because there are definitely going to be aspects that are happening between planets. There are definitely going to be like what else? My lips are dry. There are going to be aspects that are happening between planets. Obviously, the moon is going to be like moving. The moon moves 2 to 3 days, spends about 2 to 3 days in each sign. So there's going to be stuff that's coming up, but I would say that given everything that's happened in the past week, let's say the past 8 days since the, well, no, this past 7 days since the solstice, there's a lot that has happened. And a lot of it has to do with the moon, the sun in Cancer, the moon in Cancer, and then the sun being conjunct Jupiter, so we have a Jupiter sextile. And this is Laneige Cream Skin Moisturizer and Toner. I love this. I live by this. I do not do anything to my skin, like put on anything until I put this on. It's just such a great base. But anyway, with the Jupiter 𝗂𝗄𝗎, one mystic, I'll call them, one mystic that I have followed for very many years made a really great point, which is that a 𝗂𝗄𝗎, the thing about Jupiter is that it is expansive, and people relate it to luck. I'm actually not quite sure why. I guess maybe like favor is another thing, but they do say like fortune favors the brave, and that feels like something important that's coming up. If you want to have good luck in this time period, especially because of Jupiter, one thing that's coming up is you need to follow your intuition. You need to tune into your body, because Cancer does have to do with the body. It is a water sign. You need to tune into your body and to not just your emotional feelings, but your sensations, your sensational feelings, because your body will tell you what you don't know, or you want to pretend that you don't know. Your body, people will also be like, you know, you can't always listen to your body, because like if you've been through a lot of trauma, your body is traumatized. And so it doesn't always receive information in a way that is effective, healthy, and beneficial. Sometimes you might think that you're in an unsafe situation when in reality there is conflict, but conflict does not always mean that there is a lack of safety. It just means that something needs to be changed, and actually ignoring that results in less safety. It results in more problems. And so I use this glow recipe, watermelon glow, niacinamide hue drops. I messed up when I used my 𝗤𝗵 AHA because that is supposed to go on at night. Luckily the sun's going down and I wear sunscreen, but that was a mistake. Anyway, so right now there's no time for people to be fooling around and not actually, holding on to situations that do not serve you. There's absolutely no time for that anymore. It's just going to become even more painful and even more chaotic in your life if you are continuing to do that sort of thing. So it's going to be impossible to ignore, and I would encourage you, like, if you know that there's something that you need to do that you have been sitting on and you have just like not been showing up for, now's your time to do it, because honey, let me tell you something. Is it now or never? Yeah, actually, like, we are in a nexus point. I use this Laneige Radiant C. As you can tell, I love Laneige. I love Laneige so much. They're so good. They're owned by 𝗪𝗶𝗱𝗁𝗁, so you know that they're gonna be good. But yeah, there's just no more time. We are at a crossroads, and like, for some people, what I'm picking up is actually that, like, yeah, for some people, for a lot of people is what I'm picking up, you've been sitting at the crossroads experiencing torment because you don't want to do what you know that you have to do. I'm hearing piss or get off the pot. Y'all want to blame the protectors of the crossroads for why you're uncomfortable. Oh, it's Saturn's fault. It's not Saturn's fault. It's your fault, actually. Saturn isn't about punishment. It's about law and order, basically. There are universal laws. And the reality of the situation is, if you don't want to do what you know that you have to do, you're going to get back exactly what you put out. Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Is that not karma? So if you're sitting around wasting your time, not doing what you know that you have to do, and this isn't even something like, oh, like, in terms of perhaps your career, like, you know what I mean? This can be in terms of, like, you need to break up with that person. You need to break up with that person, whether it's romantic, familial, you need to quit that job. You know what I mean? Whether it's like you've known for a long time what you need to do. And if you're sitting here and you're like, I don't know what I need to do, then maybe you've done everything that you need to do, and you just need to stay calm and be patient and allow the universe to carry you to where you need to go. Don't fight against it. If you know that you have done and are doing everything that you need to do, what is there to fight against? You know what I mean? So this is Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream Sunscreen, Broad Spectrum SPF 30. I don't ever go out without sunscreen. I'm in London right now, and there's this place that has like a limited edition of savory gelatos, and I want to go try them out because I have been feeling a little bit down in the dumps, a little bit dump trucks, but also I just want to. I just want to. So I'm gonna do that. But I wanted to just, gotta tune into the energy. So I think what folks need to do is like stop assuming that you're in the wrong. If you feel like there's nothing left for you to do, you've been doing everything, you've been showing up for your challenges as they've been presented to you, then there's nothing left for you to do. And that's okay. Don't think that you're doing something wrong just because, like, it feels like nothing's happening, or it feels like you don't have to do anything. You might be seeing messages online from people such as myself who are like, oh, you gotta do this or you gotta do that. But you folks need to be discerning. Take it as it applies. If you know that it doesn't apply to you, then it doesn't apply to you, and that's just fine. Don't make your life any harder than it needs to be in this season, because shit is hard as it is. Like, for me personally, the amount of spiritual warfare that I've been experiencing is just like exhausting, and this is why I've been so tired. I've been sleeping so much. It's been frankly horrible. And, it's part of why I've been feeling quote unquote dump trucks, and why I'm like, I need to treat myself, because, I'm just going through it, you feel me? But that doesn't mean that I'm doing anything wrong. And that's the thing that I really want to communicate to people, is just because I'm not comfortable and things are not exactly the way that I want them to be, doesn't mean that we are doing something wrong. In fact, a lot of the time, that's a sign that we're doing something right, because what I do know and what I have witnessed is that there's a lot of energy breaking around me. And if there's energy breaking, that usually means that this energy is malevolent. It's like chains breaking, you know what I mean? Karmic patterns. And that's happening because I'm breaking those karmic patterns. So if you can relate to that, then you know exactly what I mean. So we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna talk about what to expect in July. So July 4th, Venus is going to be conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Then it's going to enter Gemini later that day, and Neptune is going to go retrograde. So this has a lot to do with desires. This has a lot to do with our desire. And why do I think that? Because Venus and Neptune is a higher octave than Venus. And the fact that both of them are implicated, I definitely think that there's a lot of space for timeline jumping. I also want to encourage people to be very careful on July 4th. It's always a really hectic energy, always. And it doesn't matter if you live in the United States or not. Be careful, because the portal that was ripped open in the United States that is effectively letting these energies in at July 4th, that portal that energy affects the entire planet. People who think that something only affects them, if it's happening where they live, you are wrong. And maybe it's not a nice thing to say, but you need to get your spiritual chops up. If you don't understand that what happens on the planet affects literally every single being on the planet, then you got to get your mind right. So what I picked up when I was pulling the insights for the mysteries, that is my newsletter on Substack. If you are subscribed, thank you. I would also encourage you to subscribe to the Sanctum Luminous premium tier that is called the Vault, because they're the ones getting all of the spicy details, as opposed to just what would you say, surface level stuff. And I'm going to be honest, from what I saw in the energy, don't expect this chaotic energy to go anywhere right away. For, I would say, the next 6 months throughout the end of the year, this energy really isn't going anywhere, because we are in the midst of spiritual warfare, manifesting itself in the 3D. But what I will tell you, with Uranus conjuncting Venus on the 4th of July, what I will tell you is that the divine feminine shackles are breaking free, and she's out the door. She's out the door. She's out the gates of hell. You all know that like the divine feminine has been enslaved and imprisoned on this planet for a very long time. For a very, very long time. And the divine masculine has been as well, but in a very different way. That has more been like being in a trance. But yeah, the divine feminine is breaking free, and subsequently, once that happens, well, she's already been breaking free, but like subsequently, once she is free, because of the cycle of ages, once she is free, the divine masculine will be able to liberate himself as well. And I do feel like that's actually already been going on in the ethers, and I do feel like union is coming to, divine union is coming to a lot of people. I did a reading last night. That I posted on TikTok here, where I said that for a lot of people, your divine counterpart is actually coming in, and it's happening in the month of July. So be prepared and be on the lookout. That's why I said, like, that's exactly what I was saying. In the end of June, in this past week, in the next week, everything is being purged that needs to come out so that you can actually come into alignment, so that you, like, all of those placeholders, all of that, like, waste of time, energy, that's all being purged. And also, sitting at the crossroads, you're at the crossroads, you're experiencing the tests that you need to experience, having the experiences that you need to have in order to move forward into the next level of where you're supposed to be. Yeah, this is gonna be a much better camera. I gotta go get my eyebrows done. Hopefully that's something that I can do when I get to central London later, even though it's pretty late, so I just don't know if that's gonna be possible, but my eyebrows look crazy, and that's why. Even though people are gonna be like, your eyebrows look fine, I feel like they look crazy low-key. But anyway, so I'm not gonna do eyeliner or mascara because my mascara is gonna get my eyes, and I'm honestly just in the mood to keep it low-key today. I'm trying to go under the radar, so it's just gonna be a lip gloss kind of day. Lip gloss and skincare. Yeah, so I did perceive that like satanic entities are going to be just, you know, out and about. Very much similar to how like people talk about Samhain or Halloween, like the day that the veil is very thin and the spirits are roaming the earth on that day. That's exactly the same kind of energy that I personally get every July 4th. Every July 4th. And there's a reason for that, because there was a portal that was opened. And I guess it's like reopened on that day. I'm not going to do too much channeling about that, but I guess it's like reopened on that day every year, or the veil is very thin on that year. But I personally am just like, let's just disintegrate all of the veils. Let's disintegrate all of them, because the fact that like these energies, entities, and expressions of existence are hidden is what keeps people from protecting themselves against all of this kind of stuff. Like, people don't believe in spiritual warfare because, and yet they're experiencing it all the time, and they're like seeing it in their family, and they don't believe in it because they can't see it. But guess what? Seeing is not actually believing, because if you remember, the Dogon tribe knew so much about space. They knew about Sirius B. They knew like the density of Sirius B. In fact, they knew all of this stuff for thousands of years before Europeans finally developed the technology to be able to prove it. And they had never seen it. They were like, no, we never been there. We never seen it. Seeing is not believing, actually. And when all of the proof is actually right in front of you, and the only thing that like is making, like the only reason that you don't want to believe something where there's literal experiential proof by many tribes all over the world, like That's actually insane. That's actually stupid. No offense. Anyway, so just make sure that you're blessing up and you are protecting yourself on July 4th. You always should, but I always encourage people, do not lose sense of yourself. Like, do not get too drunk, or like, you know, do not indulge too much, because if you do, I guarantee you that you are going to regret it. You are going to be putting yourself in the line of fire to be, you know, preyed upon. So I want to encourage folks to just be mindful of that. I would encourage you to also put your wards up. What I wrote in the newsletter is, personally, I would tell people, stay home. Stay home if you can. And reset the wards on your house. Reset the wards on your house. Set new ones. You know, take a spiritual bath. Drink some tea, do some healing on yourself, you know what I mean? Maybe get some energy work done by somebody that you trust. Don't just go to anybody, okay? Do not just go to anybody. I'm covering my head because I did some work that requires that I keep my head covered for the next 24 hours, but I generally keep my head covered in public anyway. I'm not somebody who loves to have my head like exposed because it's dangerous. And I don't know if like my post about like if you want a reading is the pinned post. I don't actually even know how to pin post. So, you know, whatever. Anyway, I'm like super particular about my eyebrows. On the 7th, we have Uranus entering Gemini, so it is keeping up with Venus. And I'm gonna look at the ephemeris table to be able to tell you how long they're going to be linked up with one another. July, Uranus, Venus. Where's my girl Venus? Okay, Gemini. Gemini, where's Uranus? Here. Okay, so yeah, I'd say about the 8th is when they're kind of going to break up in energy. This feels pretty significant. I'm going to pull the chart for this so that I can actually tune into what is happening with this. But like I said, it's the liberation of the divine feminine, and I do feel like you know, whatever has been holding you back, in the ways in which you've been denying your wants and your desires and your priorities, there's going to be a major energetic shakeup that happens in those realms. And it has to do with your values. It has to do with your priorities. It doesn't just have to do with money. It doesn't just have to do with love. Thank you for the likes. It doesn't just have to do with romance and love. It actually has to do with what you prioritize. And I want to share something that I have heard in spiritual communities, and that is, what you put before your recovery, you will lose. Anything that you put before your recovery. And I would like to say this in the sense of like your recovery from the trauma of being incarnate. Okay, so we're actually, I'm talking about like whatever you put before the spiritual life, you will lose. Okay, so if you're afraid to do something that you're being called to do spiritually, I would encourage you to let that go and have courage. Like I said in the beginning of this live, fortune favors the bold. So this Jupiter chasm that we just experienced, like, it is giving you the confidence and the courage to stand in your integrity, to stand in your power. Now, it is also encouraging you to have humility. It is also encouraging you to have humility, to to be humble and to not operate from a place of hubris, because pride comes before the fall, right? And there are some people who are acting mighty proud right now, and they will be struck down. They will be struck down. Have no fears about that, okay? I'm in London for a writing residency, so I'm at the accommodation of the residency that I'm, the place where I'm doing the writing residency. I'm very, very grateful to be here. London is one of my favorite places in the world, and yeah, I'm just, it's been nice to like be out of New York and not be in America, because the energy was like genuinely killing me. Like, I am not even kidding, like the health problems that I was having. So we have a triangulation between Mercury and Leo, the moon in Scorpio. The moon does not really like being in Scorpio. I do want to point that out. And Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, and we have Fortuna here. So the houses that this is affecting are the 11th house, the 2nd house, and the 5th house. But there's also like a little cusp energy with the 1st house, which is in Gemini. So what's definitely being activated here is, and that there's a sense of contention. So this is the thing that's being changed, is our personal power and our relationships. There's a huge dynamic change, shift that is happening, a huge shift in dynamic. If you've been calling back your power, calling back your energy, if you've been taking back your power, it is showing up for you right now on the 4th of July with this Venus and Uranus. This is exactly what I was saying. If you are, and the thing about feminine energy is that it's magnetic, right? So this is about attracting, not chasing. You're being asked to let go of, and it's not just people, places, and things, it's also habits, mindsets, and beliefs. Whatever you've been programmed to believe that you know in your heart is not true, even if you experienced it so much in the past that it feels like it is the absolute truth, it's not, and you can let that go. You can let that fear go. You can let that illusion go. And that's the veil. The veil is ready to go, but you or we are holding on to it in different ways. We are the ones who are holding on to it in different ways. So yeah, it's time to let that go. And I think that a lot of this has to do with scarcity mindset. And something that I've been channeling is like love scarcity. And estual scarcity, and this is the fear that I will not receive like a partner, or I will not receive, like I won't have, intimate relations that I will enjoy again, and so maybe I should just hold on to this person because like I really no, because let me tell you something. A lot of people who have nothing to offer anybody are very, very good lovers. They're very, very good lovers. And why? Because they don't have anything else to offer. And I also mean, I'm not even just talking about money or materiality. I'm also talking about like emotionally, spiritually. They do not fill us up. And they're not going to, but there's so much that we are willing to spiritually bypass and just ignore and just let slide in our lives because we are afraid of going without. And so for some people, look, this is the end. This is the end. let go or be dragged. This just fell out because I was just shuffling. To get deeper into the energy. But 10 of Swords, dude, it's the end of the line. It's really time to let go. If you are afraid, pray for support. You know, pray for guidance. Pray for comfort. People, I think, oftentimes forget to pray for comfort. And I recommend always praying for grace and praying for ease in the changes that take time and that are difficult. Okay, another thing that I would say is, like, I do feel like some people who this message is for have not actually been telling their loved ones about what they're going through. They've been trying to carry this burden alone. This is the 10 of Wands. I mean, the 10 of Swords, but what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is the 10 of Wands. If you've been trying to carry this burden alone, it's time to put it down. It's time to share that load. Okay, there's a Liberian praise song. It's a super, super famous praise song. It's by 𝗂𝗵𝗄𝗏, and it's called "You Will Carry My Load." And it's about, like, you know, letting spirit, letting your great gods, guides, and ancestors, whatever you believe in, the most high divine creator, you know, it's about letting them carry the load for you. You don't have to carry it all by yourself. You don't have to go through it all by yourself. And I understand that for some people, that's going to be a really hard message to internalize. But this is the permission, because guess what? We got the Lovers. The more that you let people in, the more that you are vulnerable, the more that you are going to create relationships where you can be vulnerable, and situations for you to be vulnerable. But the more that you resist it, the more that you are going to create experiences where you cannot be, or where you're being called to be vulnerable, where you're being called to you're being presented with tests, you're being presented with crossroads, where it's like, it's just a karmic loop over and over again until you finally do it. 7 of Cups, all of these opportunities to choose yourself, to choose to be integrated, to choose wholeness, to choose alignment. Don't choose relationships where people, you know that they're betraying you. You know, you can tell in your body, and that's what we were talking about. All of this Cancerian energy, tune into your body. Your body is rejecting that person. You know, it's a lot of people that, like, get their, let's just say your pH balance gets thrown off every time you're intimate with them. That's literally your body telling you to leave that person alone. But you don't want to do it. You know, you might get sick every time you hang out with this person. You might feel so drained every time you're around this person. Somebody that I was seeing, I genuinely felt so drained after I would, like, sleep over at their house. Like, I would sleep the whole next day. Yeah, because they were on some vampire shit and they were draining me, and they didn't even realize it. But if you realize it, you have to be the one. It's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself, to clear those passages. The Tower in reverse. You think that it's going to be the end of the world, but it's not. 6 of Swords in reverse. And if you're trying to run away in secret and hide from it and just try and ghost, no, you need to face it directly. And I guarantee you, until you do, it will keep coming up for you, because it needs to be cleared. Your heart, your soul, your spirit is tired. And this Venus-Uranus conjunction is about liberation from the chains that bind. So do expect, like I said, the 4th of July is going to be triggering AF. It's going to be very triggering, because there are going to be a lot of energies and entities working to trigger you at this crossroads junction for you to choose yourself. It's up to you how you react. It's up to you how you respond. You don't need to try to hold other people, you know, accountable for what you're supposed to do for yourself. Queen of Wands in the reverse, 8 of Wands, and 10 of Pentacles. At the other side, like, you're going to be so much stronger for it, and it's not about conflict. That, I think, is part of the problem. It's like this idea that everything's so black and white, or like black or white. It's like this conflict. No, like, if people can't have a nuanced conversation, you know, just let them know, like, listen, I don't have time for this. You know, I don't have space for this. Okay, follow your heart. That's what I'm going to encourage y'all to do. But it is about you taking back your personal power, and it is about you communicating confidently what you need to communicate to the people in your life. Clear space for what is meant for you and what you really want. Okay, so let's move forward. Neptune retrograde. Let's get some insight into Neptune retrograde. So in the month of July, it is like the thick of retrograde season happens in July, but it's already been starting in June because Pluto's already retrograde. But yeah, so we get Neptune retrograde on the 4th, we get Saturn retrograde on the 13th, we get Mercury retrograde on the 18th, and I'm telling you, Mercury retrograde in Leo is going to be powerful because we have already been feeling it. We've already been feeling it kicking our butts. There's already been communication mishaps. Like, it's already happening, right? So hunker down. Make sure that you get everything aligned the way that it needs to be aligned for you to get what you need done. Do anything that you need to do before Mercury retrograde. And honestly, in this shadow period, I would say, like, yeah, try to do it before June is over, because part of this is that there's a great reset that's happening. There's a cosmic reset that's happening. And karmically, people are being taken to where they need to go right now. So if it feels like you're trying to run the show, you're trying to control the narrative, you're trying to decide what does and doesn't happen, and that hasn't been happening the way that you want it to happen, the reason why is because the universe is putting you where you need to be, and you need to stop fighting it. You need to stop fighting it, and you need to trust that you're exactly where you need to be for all of this to happen. Because what's happening in the cosmos is extremely karmic right now, okay? So we have, I would honestly recommend try to get any kind of contractual stuff, logistical stuff, get all that shit planned out and mapped out before July. Because we're, like, this retrograde is going to be powerful. There's a lot happening with Leo energy, with Sun energy, this summer, of course, but like, there's a lot happening. And then we have Chiron retrograde on the 30th. And while Mercury is retrograde, there's going to be a 𝗂𝗲𝗎 on the 31st. And to me, this is going to rewire our mental programming. The month of July is just a great reset. I don't think that I can say it any more clearly than that. Like, all of these channels, your mental body, your emotional body, your light body, your etheric body, your physical body, like, all of these bodies are experiencing a reset. And yeah, I would say that it has to do with the solstice we just passed, but I think, like, really starting with this Venus conjunction Uranus, like I said, fortune favors the bold. You want your divine counterpart, and in the Aetherium, the divine counterpart is not just a romantic partner, it's your entire life. Because if anything is out of alignment in your life, that affects your overall frequency. Death in reverse. Six of Swords in the reverse again. You need to stop hiding. You need to stop hiding. You need to let, and stop self-abandoning as well. The sense of stuckness that you are experiencing might be because you still have lessons to learn in the situation that you're in. Okay, and we have the Eight of Swords. So yeah, feeling stuck, feeling trapped. Spirit, what is the lesson that the collective is needing to learn? What is the lesson? I'm gonna go for 3 different ones. Okay, Seven of Wands. You need to learn how to be discerning about your relationships. Like, stop letting haters be in your life and sit there and nest and roost, because they are the ones who are sabotaging things for you. They're the ones who are ruining things for you. You know who it is, because somebody in this life right now, but definitely when I like chop this up and post it, like somebody, like it is your relationship to your mother. Somebody has a narcissistic mother who they allow to bully them, and it's time for that to stop. I'm not gonna not say what's coming up. But like, and for a lot of you, it's like you have that core wounding to that core mother wound that we collectively have, that allows people embodying the Jezebel archetype to come into your life and to steal from you, to drain you, because they are vampiric energies and entities. The reality that folks need to realize is it doesn't matter what gender they are. They can still be embodying the Jezebel archetype. If they are a narcissist, they are embodying the Jezebel archetype. They are an energetic vampire, and they are feeding on your soul, your spirit, your light. And this is why you're not living the life that you want to live, because they are stealing your abundance from you. But in essence, you're giving it to them, because it is up to us to dismiss these energies, entities, and expressions of existence from our lives, right? This is happening for some of you. If you are also dealing with somebody who, like, you just have to be really careful. I did a spiritual warfare reading last night that I wasn't going to do because I was like, oh, I don't know, like, I don't want to be negative. I wanted to keep things light, but Spirit was on me to do this reading. And what came through is that for some people, like, you have to recognize, like, powers and principalities are acting through people to have access to you. And these people, like, some of you are literally sleeping with the enemy, literally, because they are so low vibrational. It's time to let go of these relationships with people who are friggin', like, they are of the world. They are of the world. As opposed to those of us who are in the world, not of it. They are just so materialistic. They have chosen a materialistic life. And what's worse is if they are spiritually awake and spiritually attuned, but they don't want to live that way. And they just ignore their intuition. They ignore the truth. They ignore the information that's being given to them. They ignore the messages. When I do readings for people, especially when I do open readings, so like I'll go, like, I've done them at like hotels, I've done them at events, parties, all sorts of things, like art shows as well. When I do open readings and people don't have to book, they can just come right up and have a reading with me. A lot of those people have so many messages that they have been ignoring, that they're like, oh yeah, I want to know about like my love life. And it's like, well, you gotta deal with all of this first. You get a 5-10 minute reading and we can only talk about your love life in the last 1 minute, because you have all of this other stuff that you haven't been dealing with, all of these messages that have been coming through. But how do you expect that your love life is going to go the way that you want it to go? You know what I mean? And so it's about letting yourself shine. It's about letting yourself be seen. Stop hiding. Stop keeping the transformation from happening. I do feel like for some of you, it's because of programming and indoctrination that you experienced as a child. The system is working exactly as it was meant to, and I said that purposefully in a specific way. The system is working exactly as it was supposed to. The system that was implemented into your mental body to keep you in a state of disempowerment. Some of you might relate to what is called beta programming, kitten programming. Some of you may relate to that. The work that you're doing around that is liberating you from those binds, from those boundaries, those blockages. And I want you to know that it's not your fault, that this is something that you are experiencing, and that you do have spiritual support to get through this experience. But you need to let go of those ideas. And I would also recommend, if it seems like a good idea, to you, it seems like, oh, this is definitely something that I should do, but then you feel confused, you feel conflicted, you feel like, oh, I don't know if that's something that I want to do. This is the programming trying to keep you stuck, and I would encourage you to do it anyway. Do it scared. Do it anyway. Okay. Yeah. And I also want to point out that, like, obviously there are no people in this card, right? There are no people in this card except for this one person. Ooh, I said something that the algorithm doesn't like. There are no people in this card. So sometimes, one, yeah, there's spiritual warfare going on, but two, you might think that people don't like you, or that people don't fuck with you, or that people, like, you might think that you're not popular, you might think that you're not good enough, you might think this or that and the other, but that's not true, and people love you, actually. It's these self-limiting beliefs. The inner critic is loud. So like I said, consider internal family systems, because for somebody here, it definitely has to do with having narcissistic parent, but particularly narcissistic mother. Judgment in reverse. This comes back to being discerning. Stop letting people who hate you in your life. You need to stop judging yourself so much and start judging them. Okay, King of Wands in the reverse. Take sovereignty of your life. You don't want to make decisions. Probably because you're trying to escape accountability. You don't want to deal with the consequences of your decisions. You don't trust your intuition. You don't trust your spirit team. Whatever implemented this system doesn't want you to. They don't want you to. But you have to be like, fuck you, I don't care what you want. Sorry, language. Okay, so how long have I been on here? I'm gonna wait until my phone is fully charged, and then I'm gonna head out. And we're getting some insight into what's retrograde season is going to bring. I'm not gonna look at all of these charts because there are too many. I do think that Chiron retrograde is one that I certainly want more insight into. But like I said, it is a great cosmic reset. Look at what came out here. 10 of Cups. Oh my goodness, I love that. Fulfillment. All of that hard work that you've been putting in. People tend to think that retrograde season is bad, but I do feel like this is giving the meek shall inherit the earth. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. That's what it's giving. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of triggering going on, and you just have to do your best to stay grounded. Meditate, ground into the earth, do some deep throat humming, like hum the vibrations, the discordant energy out of your body. I find when I'm around people who make me uncomfortable, I start humming a lot, because I'm trying to hum their energy out of my field. This lady that I know, I really don't want to interact with her because she's just so like negative, and I feel like self-pitying, and I just don't like her energy. Like, it doesn't give me life, and I know that I give people life, so it's not a reciprocal relationship, it's not an aligned relationship. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to tell her, like, you know, I need to take care of me, and I don't want to interact anymore. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that's like coming through with this reading of like, fortune favors the bold. Remember that in the month of July. If it's on your heart, have a lion heart, because the end of the month, the 22nd, we have Leo season. Have a lion heart. Face your challenges head on. This is not about hiding, okay? You are the master manifester. You are the magician, but you have to make those decisions. You don't want to be accountable to the consequences of the decisions that you make that might feel like a wrong decision, but then that means that you're also not going to be accountable to the decisions that could be impactful in a way that feels good and beneficial. You understand what I mean? So with retrograde season, I think that's pretty much as I can say about retrograde season. Slow down. You don't have to rush. There's nowhere to be that's going anywhere. Your boat is going to wait for you. Okay? Okay, so we have Uranus entering Gemini. Yeah, I really feel like it's just going to be a crossroads for relationships, and where people are on a different wavelength, a different timeline. They have different values, principles, philosophies, and that's their business, but they can exist in a different universe. Y'all don't have to have overlap, and you need to draw a hard line, okay? You're the master manifestor. Remember that what you're allowing in your life is amplifying, and it's magnetizing more and more of it, honey. Full moon in Capricorn. That's the crossroads, and it's just like, I feel like if you're not doing the work to cut those cords and remove those relationships now, yeah, some of you definitely do some cord cutting for sure. And like I said, put up those wards, but also with boundaries with yourself, because a lot of people think like, oh, like I can just listen to these subliminals, or I can just do magic, and that's going to stop this energy from happening. You need to actually take action in your own life and be the sovereign and be the authority. If you can't even handle the amount of power that you have right now, you can't handle the amount of power that it's going to require for you to have the life that you want to live. And that's on period, okay? So yeah, full moon in Capricorn. If you haven't been, having those healthy boundaries, if you haven't been standing on business, if it hasn't been clocking to them that you're standing on business, because you maybe haven't been standing on business, the full moon is gonna bring a big crash out. It's gonna be a big crash out, and I do feel like Saturn retrograde and Mercury retrograde are bringing these energies in, and with Saturn and Mercury retrograde, I do feel like people are going to be haunted, straight up harassed by their past. You know what I mean? The karma related to the karma related to the things that they did, the ways that they may have hurt you, the way that you may have hurt others. I need water. The way that you may have hurt others, like, it's not, it's, just say sorry. That's what I'm gonna say. Just say sorry. And for some people, it's just gonna be that, like, you need to make amends to yourself for the ways that you let yourself down. Okay? The sun enters Leo on the 22nd. What's that? Ooh. Ooh. Excuse me. At 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time, so 1:30 Greenwich Mean Time. We're using whole sign astrology. We have a cat's cradle here. There's an opposition between the sun and Pluto retrograde. Pluto retrograde is in Uranus, is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus as well as Saturn in the 4th house. So this is definitely going to be bringing up ancestral stuff, transmutation, spiritual alchemy, you know, karmic inheritance from your lineage, and where you're going to be breaking those patterns that are what do I want to say? Breaking these patterns that are debasing, degenerative, debilitating. They're not serving you. And I do want to say, you know, there are a lot of families that have, like, a history of ritual A. Let's put it that way. And I just love how, like, TikTok is like, we're not sending you any more people. Once I started talking about that, it's very annoying, but whatever. It is what it is. I'd rather be somebody who tells the truth than somebody who doesn't, and I don't want to, you know, get people who don't actually vibe or resonate with what I talk about here. I'm gonna set a live goal. I want 180 flowers or roses. So yeah, I feel like for my own self, I'm rushing through this reading. I'm like tense, and the messages are not flowing as freely because, like, I feel like I have to perform, and that is something that I have to break free from in order to receive what is true for me, what is good for me, what is in alignment, which is ease. Okay, so I have to let that behavior go, but I'm still learning how to do that, and I can feel it in the back of my root chakra and my sacral chakra. It's like, love me, love me, love me. So this definitely has to do with this Venus energy that we were picking up on. But if I accept that I'm unconditionally loved, if I accept that I'm magnetic, then I don't have to perform. Because actually the performance is what is repelling what is truly for me and what it is I truly want. You understand? So there are some manifestation tips for you. Just let it flow. Let it flow. I don't know if this is just me. It feels like the collective, and yeah, it's blocking up the solar plexus for sure. I think this might be coming through because of Leo season, but I'm gonna pause for a second and do some energy work on this. And if you want to receive this energy work, energy healing, say, just accept it. There's an arrow that has like come from above into the solar plexus, and is also in, yeah, it's in the solar plexus for sure. There's this arrow coming from. Hypermasculinity is what I'm picking up. And it's drying up that well. It's not allowing, this is a disconnection from the Most High Divine Creator. This is a disconnection from the divine because of cis-heteropatriarchy. This is what is coming in here. And it's blocking the flow, the abundance, the fertility, the beauty. And the people that you see who are not spiritually aligned, spiritually healthy people, that have a lot of money, it's because they've done terrible things to get it. Not everybody who has a lot of money and wealth is a bad person who's done terrible things. Some of them have transcended this material false matrix, but others still have a lot of work to do. And so this is like the work to do. And this is like an arrow that's been like smashed into there. And so I wonder if you can understand what I am talking about when I say that. It is a non-consensual forcing of this phallic thing that has broken us away from faith in the divine, in Creator. And this is part of what has to do with the divine feminine. So overactive solar plexus. If you've been experiencing gut health issues, it's because your solar plexus is overactive. You're doing too much, trying to prove too much. If you've had a lot of phlegm, if you've had a lot of dry throat, your body is producing a lot of phlegm, it's producing a lot of mucus because of the gut. Hypermasculinity has been forced upon you. It's time to lean into the feminine. Lean into rest. Lean into internal methods of manifestation. Your heart is weary. This is something that has happened in the cycle of ages. It's not just something that has happened to an individual. This is the collective is dealing with this energy. And this period of time in July, this is being rectified. The sun is ushering in a crystalline wave of healing. So that we can be in our personal power and we can, receive integration with our divine counterpart. Say less, do less. Say less, do less. Is what I'm picking up. You don't need to perform. Once again, feels very important. Be true, be sovereign, because a court jester performs, okay? But the sovereign does not. The sovereign sits on the throne, and the rest of the, sorry for being using imperialistic language, but the rest of the kingdom comes to them. And when you know it, Mars is going to be conjunct the South Node in Virgo in the 11th house. So this really is healing, coming to your masculine channels. And it does really have to do with like your relationship to others. But one thing that I heard was like, you don't need to perform for the algorithm. And it's the 11th house, which definitely has to do with social media. With that Sun, Jupiter, 𝗂𝗃, But that is making a square, not the 𝗂𝗲𝗎 that happened already, but this conjunction with Mars in its south node is making a square to Venus in Gemini in the 8th house, which makes a lot of sense. And that is intersecting the sun in opposition to Pluto retrograde. Venus in Gemini in the 8th house. Yeah, more to do with that personal power, more to do with that karmic inheritance. It's time for you to receive your abundance. You can deal with, you've already done enough to transmute the low vibrational, like intergenerational trauma and all of that stuff. You've already done that work, I'm assuming. If you haven't, then do it. But if you have already done that work, then now you are receiving the abundance, but you have to receive it. Let go of the past. Let go of the past and receive it with open arms. Let's look at this cat's cradle. Implicated here is vertex and, well, vertex, Saturn, and Neptune are conjunct in Aries 6th house. Mind you, Saturn and Neptune are retrograde. Whoa. And Uranus is being implicated at 0 degrees Gemini, the 8th house. Well, you know, Saturn and Neptune go really well together, even though people might disagree. This is the integration of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. And it is the eradication of the toxic polarities that have been dominant in our society. And in our actions, what we do, because we have cleared it from in our minds. And if you haven't fully cleared it in your mind, just act as if. That's what I always say. Change the way that you communicate with yourself, change the way that you communicate with others. Communicate to the world in a way that is always attracting what you want to attract. And if you are looping about what you don't want, create affirmations about what you do want to replace, like, I don't want that, no. And also, you don't have to prove that you don't want something that is bad for you. You don't have to prove that. To anybody. Oh, thank you. I didn't see that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But yeah, you don't have to prove to anybody that, like, you know, you don't have to virtue signal if it's like your ex is like popping up in your mind. And you're just like, no, I know better. Like, I've learned so much. I don't want that person anymore. Get out of here. It's just like, whatever. They're there. You know, what does this have to tell me? What is the message that is coming up from this person popping up in my mind? I know that I'm not interested in engaging with them anymore. Maybe it just needs to pass through. Maybe it's that they're thinking of you and that they're going to contact you. But you don't have to get worked up just because something that you may be associated with, but now you know better, like, comes up. It's retrograde season. You know, it's bound to happen. But right write those affirmations about what you do want. When they come up, remind yourself, I am actively I am actively integrating into harmonious union with my divine counterpart. Oh, this person's coming up in my field. That's just a reminder for you to use your affirmation. That's all that has to be. Reframe it in a way that serves you, okay? It does not have to be anything else. So that's for Leo season. Let's see, one more. July. New moon in Leo, Chiron retrograde, Venus enters Cancer. Expect a lot of rewards. If you done good and you did the work throughout, the month of July for all of these challenges that are surfacing, because it's gonna be challenging. It's gonna be challenging. Cancer season, like, I just want to lay down. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be comforted. Like I said before, pray for comfort. Invite comfort into your life. Make your life more comforting. Make your life more comfortable. That's the challenge. Ask yourself, how can I make myself more comfortable right now? I can tell you how you can make yourself more comfortable. Stop hanging out with people you don't want to hang out with. Stop going places you don't want to go. Stop doing things you don't want to do. You'll be overstimulated way less of the time, because we already have a lot of things that we have to do that we don't want to do. So stop adding that fuel to the fire. If you've done the work throughout, and this is the thing about cosmic wellness that other people who teach about manifestation and law of attraction, they don't tell you about. You have to do the work, and you have to work in tandem with the cycles of the universe, with the cycles of the planet. Like, that's what makes you a master manifester. A lot of these people who are teaching about manifestation out here, their money may look right, but their spirit is dirty. They are delusional, and they are borderline 𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 I guarantee you that those are not the kinds of people that you want to model yourself after, because the kind of karma that they're racking up for themselves, especially if this is their first time to Earth, which a lot of the time it is, I promise you that their next time on Earth is not going to be so cute. So be careful who you get your information from out here. If you do the work that you are being invited to do, it's not about, oh, I have to do this. Oh, why is this situation presenting itself to me? Because remember, it was a 7 of Cups. It was a 7 of Cups. If you do the work that you have been given the opportunity to do, when Venus enters Cancer on the 31st of July and the Sun is conjunct Mercury, you have a Mercury 𝗂𝗃𝗁. Be very mindful of your thoughts at that time. Be very, very mindful of your thoughts at that time. And I would really recommend maybe like listening to subliminals. Like I said, reframing negative thoughts, for lack of a better word, to generative, beneficial, attractive thoughts, healing thoughts. Be mindful of that, because if you are, you're going to be very, very juicy, very, very attractive, and it all flows to me. Do think about what you want in terms of your feelings, in terms of how you want to feel in life, like the vibes. Because we all know that sometimes you go to a party and it's like, y'all know, I'm an ex-party girl, but sometimes you go to a party and it's like, oh, like I love that venue, and like you have like a fit that you think is going to be really cute, and it's like, oh, you think that all the right people are going to be there, and like all the right drinks are going to be served or whatever. I don't drink, but you know what I mean. It seems like it's all the right recipe for the perfect night, right? Like you always have fun at that place, but then the vibe is just off the next time that you go there. You know what I mean? Like the vibe is off. Your favorite outfit doesn't feel comfortable, or like you broke your heel or something like that. Like or you lost a little bit of weight, and now like your favorite jeans are like, you keep having to pull them up. Your favorite people were supposed to go, but then they ended up not going, and the vibe is just off. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I did say like all of this stuff that has to do with like external factors, but let me flip it like this. All of the stuff that you want is there, but you're not feeling it, and you force yourself to go anyway, and the vibe is off. Don't you hate when that happens? Because I know I do. So suffice it to say, I'm gonna close this up. Stop doing what you don't want to do. Stop going where you don't want to go. Stop allowing outside forces to rule you, to control you. 6 of Pentacles. Ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for support. Spirit, can you clarify the 6 of Pentacles, please? Ask for help from your spirit team. Ask them what it is they want you to do. Everything that you have been waiting for is coming to you. Trust and believe. People have been operating in the dark against you, but don't worry, because people have been like working in the light, in your honor, in favor of your victory, of your success, and it is coming to you. But you have to stop going against, like, stop contributing to it not happening for you the way that you want it to, or the way that you need it to. Be your own sovereign, and your own sovereign means that you know what it is you're meant to do and what it is you're not meant to do, when you're supposed to leave, when you're not supposed to leave. Get the Hierophant and the Emperor. 2 of Cups coming into union. With Venus entering Cancer, I'll say, I feel like it's about to be lusty in August. I think that some of you are going to be dating someone in August, actually. Any final messages, Spirit? It's your time to choose. Choose wisely. Mind over matter. Choose wisely. And it's the self-sabotaging behaviors, okay? Spirit will not let you fall. But you cannot keep contributing to things that are not working out for you. I feel like something is coming in. There's an offer that's coming in that is being blocked from you, actually. That's why some things have not been working out for you, is because those offers were beneath you. They were disrespectful, quite frankly. And Spirit is like not about to let that into your life. The Chariot, that things are moving forward. Change is imminent. It is on the horizon. That was, yeah, they don't want me to talk about that card. But you have to remember your power, your prosperity, your Ace of Pentacles, Nobody can take this from you. What's coming in is for you and for you alone, and nobody can steal it from you. So I'm gonna call it. I'm done. I'm leaving. I will be making this live available to the adepts, that is the premium subscribers of my Substack channel. And it will not be available until July for the rest of you. So yeah, I love you all truly and deeply. I hope that that was helpful, and I'll see you on the flip side.